clear communication and understanding how to work with really large groups of people. Oftentimes you learn at university, I guess, how to work in a group of maybe maximum 5 people. I think that's probably the largest group I ever worked with, but you never really learn how to work with 50 groups of 5 people. That turns out to be a completely different skill set, and it's extremely difficult, and you need to be really clear in the way you communicate with people. And you really need to be able to think and put yourself in other people's shoes and have a lot of empathy. So I think that was the real thing that I felt like I had to really develop really quickly when I was at Atlassian.
I think it depends. So I did an internship at Cochlear first, where I was working in their firmware team, which is writing the code that sits on the sound processors, for example. That work was quite similar to what I'd done at uni, because UNSW's electrical engineering degree particularly gears you up for that quite well. So writing in Python, writing in C, DevOps, that sort of stuff. I felt that overlapped quite heavily with university. What I do now in the systems engineering team is a lot more in line with what Alex was talking about. It's about communication with stakeholders. And that is about, I feel like university gives you the foundation for that, because you need to be able to speak these technical languages and have background understanding. But it's about taking it further and saying, okay, I know this stuff, but how do I use it to communicate with people, achieve milestones, meet targets, get stuff done from a more business-oriented perspective, I guess. So yeah, I'd say it's a mix. I definitely do my share of coding on a day-to-day, but it's about taking that and going beyond and communicating about that code.
As a trader, particularly as one of the more junior traders at the moment, I do a lot of quantitative statistical analysis. And that's, of course, what I've learned from uni and statistics and other projects that I've done, those kind of assignments. It's kind of similar in a sense that it's the same skills, the same processes, the same even coding or Excel programs that I'm using. But at the end of the day, now it's about seeing how I can apply it and asking, why am I doing this? And kind of thinking a bit more critically about the outcome of this analysis.
There's not really a point where you can say, I'm kind of done with uni now and I need to now focus on trying to find an internship or a job. I would say that as you kind of get towards like your second and third years, or if you're a software engineer, your 4th year, you kind of get to a point where you start to put more effort into preparation for internships and graduate interviews. I would say, but I wouldn't say that there was ever a point where I thought I'm finished with uni now. My uni commitment is now over and I'm now doing like internship or graduate interview preparation. So yeah, absolutely stick with uni and continue putting effort into uni, because the effort that you put into uni is going to pay dividends, not just for like the education that you receive, but when graduate employers look at, for example, your WAM, and because you put in the hard yards whilst you were still searching for an internship or a job, your WAM is higher, that kind of reflects well on you. I think the number one thing that you can show to make yourself stand out is passion. I think recruiters and interviewers and really everyone is willing to make concessions if you show true, genuine passion for what you do. I've had interviews where I thought I completely bungled them, but I was told afterwards, look, your technical skill was not quite up to scratch, but you showed a lot of passion and interest for what you did. And so, we're going to put you through to the next round. So it absolutely pays to show your passion. Another thing is having strong speaking skills. That's something that is hard to sort of teach yourself. But having strong speaking skills is absolutely a valuable asset.
I'd also sort of emphasize that like coding and technical skills is only one part of your role as a software engineer or in a grad program. So it's equally important to be able to communicate well with others, show leadership skills, being able to work in teams. So any experience that you can get that will allow you to work well with others, it really shows in an interview, and it really sets you apart.
I think it's different for everyone. It depends on how you personally want to handle what can be a really stressful situation. Interviews aren't an easy thing to do. It really depends on you, but I think what's important is doing whatever you need to do to stay as relaxed as you can be. For me, that's before I leave to go to the interview or wherever it is, I do a lot of exercise because I just need to get the adrenaline out. That's my personal outlet for that sort of thing. In terms of longer term prep though, I would think about, if the interview particularly is one of a few that you're attending, make sure you understand the role you're applying for, the skills they want. Make sure you understand what they'll be looking for in that interview. You've really got to understand because they're coming in looking for an employee, right? They want to work with you. And you've got to know what they want to see for them to say, yeah, I want to work with that person. So know what skills you need to be able to exemplify. Know what situations you've been in that you can recount to show that you have those skills. Know what sort of mission the company is on so that you can show that you align with that mission and come up with examples that show that you are passionate about the same sorts of things. It's really about understanding the people on the other end of that interview, because that's who you're there to show that you want to work with.
It's always a good idea to, when you're doing your research on a company, just to think of a few questions that you're actually interested in, because it shows that not only have you done your research, but that you have an active interest in that company. And often an interviewer will ask if you have any questions. So I think that's a smart thing to do.